My name is Russell James. I am the Digital Engagement Director at the Football Association. Basically that means I'm leading our digital transformation process. So how do we make the experience of football, whether you're a player, a fan, a referee or a coach, how do we make that better for you using digital? So I think from a sort of back-end perspective, it's all about getting our data in a usable fashion. So we've collected data across different databases over time. We're consolidating that into what we call a single participant view, so a bit like a single customer view, but for us it's all about participants. And then what we're building is sort of digital solutions that will use that. So there might be websites, apps that make your experience of football sort of much more positive using that data. Fundamentally, it's all about participation. So we want to see digital make an impact on the number of people playing, the amount of time they're spending playing, the quality of that experience, or refereeing or coaching, whatever that might be. There are some commercial sort of KPIs associated with it too. So from a fan perspective, might be tickets sold or merchandise, similar to a lot of football clubs. But no, it's a real blend of sort of activity in football and then kind of fan commercial metrics. So I think what you typically see is the traditional format of football, the 11-a-side football, as being the sort of part of participation football that has had some decline. But people are moving to other formats of football. So as people get busy, they've got less time, they don't necessarily have the time to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on a weekend playing football, so they want shorter formats of football. So very much we're sort of supporting getting people into any type of football, whatever it might be. Then the other interesting thing is demographics of football are changing. So we're seeing a much more sort of female audience playing football, so girls and women, and we're very supportive of that. We have an ambition to double the size of the women's game by 2020, and then even older demographics. So things like walking football, gives a new opportunity for people over sort of 45, 50 to get back into a form of football that is reachable for them. Get them back enjoying doing some exercise, enjoying being with other people, building that community, and it's a really important format that we're trying to support through all programs, including digital. I suppose from a participation side, we already have a product in the market which is called Full Time, which does your sort of fixtures and results and league service for a lot of grassroots football. We've improved that, so we've made a specific mobile version of that about 6 months ago, and that's showing really promising success, and we want to go further with that. So how do we make the experience of organising football on a weekend much more simpler, and we'll have some digital products hopefully coming out for next season that will support with that, and that could include things like payments for taking your subs and paying your membership fees. So how do we support that, which is a bit of a pain point within the game. On the fan side of things, we've been very much focused on women's. So the Women's European Championships was last summer. We launched effectively a microsite to support that specific competition, but really targeting an 8 to sort of 12-year-old girl who is discovering football, maybe starting to take part in it, but wants to know more, discovering the Lionesses and wants to know more about them. So how we've augmented that experience through digital. And we've got a World Cup coming up in Russia, so we're working pretty hard on a product to support the fans of England as we go into that World Cup in the summer. We do a lot of research. We're quite fortunate. We have quite a lot of sort of historical research that we can kind of build on, but we keep that up to date. We do this thing called the Grassroots Football Survey, which goes out to about 30,000 people annually. We've been doing that for about 4 years, and that gives us a real read on what players want, what parents want, what referees and coaches and the volunteers want. And now we're looking through some of those sort of findings with a digital lens and saying, well, what does that mean for the features or the experience that we'd want to give digitally? And throughout the life cycle of our initiation of projects to the design of them, the delivery of them, that we're continually testing with different audiences to make sure that what we're developing is actually going to be decent in market. I've got 2 daughters. The sort of growth of the women's game is a real sort of personal passion point for me, as it is for a lot of people within the organisation. And I think through digital we can really make a massive difference to girls who want to play, get them to find some football, whether it's a club or some other format of football, getting them in and then making their experience of football really positive, stay with the game forever. So that to me is something that we can really make a big difference to, you know, football as a whole, and even society. You know, girls playing sport is a really good thing for everybody.